From towering giants that once touched the clouds, to the thunderous moments they came crashing down. While new skyscrapers rise to shape the future, it's their destruction that truly steals the spotlight. In the heart of crowded cities, where every second counts and every blast echoes through history, we witness humanity's power to both create and erase. This is Absolute Facts, and today, we're counting down the tallest building demolitions in the world, where engineering meets spectacle and legends fall in a cloud of dust. Number 1. Ocean Tower Demolition. They called it the Leaning Tower of South Padre, and for a moment, it looked like Texas was about to have its own skyscraper legend. Rising 115 meters above South Padre Island, just a short distance from where SpaceX would later launch Starship Ocean Tower, was meant to be a luxury sanctuary in the sky. Swimming pools, a high-end gym, spa rooms, every floor designed to sell the dream of seaside perfection. But the deeper the foundation settled, the more a nightmare started to appear. Massive cracks began crawling through the support columns, and engineers realized something unthinkable: the base had already sunk nearly 16 inches. The damage wasn't just cosmetic, it was structural doom. Hope turned into calculations, and calculations turned into a verdict. Repair wasn't just expensive, it was economically insane. In December 2009, all the optimism and all the ambition of this $75 million tower came down to one final decision: a controlled implosion performed by Controlled Demolition Incorporated. For safety, the park next to the site was closed. The tallest reinforced concrete structure ever imploded at that time collapsed into a cloud of dust, marking the end of one of America's most dramatic skyscraper failures. Number 2. Landmark Tower Demolition. It once stood like a digital lighthouse over Fort Worth, crowned by the largest revolving clock the world had ever seen. When the Landmark Tower opened in 1957, it wasn't just another skyscraper. It was the tallest in the entire city, a symbol of Texas pride and a beacon of modern ambition. But greatness ages, and eventually, this 380-foot giant became nothing more than an empty shell, abandoned after only a few decades of life. Then nature delivered its final strike. In March 2000, a fierce tornado ripped through Fort Worth and punished the tower with devastating force, sealing its fate. By 2006, the city made the call, and a decade later, in 2016, the site returned to the ordinary, making way for nothing more dramatic than a parking garage. Number 3. Eiffel Tower Demolition. It was the tallest tower ever demolished in all of Europe, and more than 30,000 people gathered to watch it fall. The AFE Tower stood 116 meters over Frankfurt, part of the Goethe University campus, a concrete monolith that once shaped the city skyline. For years it sat there, empty, silent, and aging, until the debate began. Engineers initially planned to take it apart slowly, piece by piece, but residents were tired of waiting. Complaints grew louder, the news spread, and tension built until finally, explosives were approved. And in 2014, the moment arrived. With a thunderous blast, the outer concrete shell collapsed first. Then seconds later, two precisely timed charges on the 5th and 17th floors severed its core. One half toppled north, the other fell south. The landmark was erased in seconds, and after years of nothing but empty space, the land was reborn into something completely different. A luxury tower called 140 West, with hotel rooms below and high-priced apartments above, much to the disappointment of the students who once walked beneath AFE's shadow. Number 4. Building in Xi'an City. In Xi'an, a skyscraper meant to symbolize ambition became nothing more than an expensive ghost. The Golden Flower, building a 118-meter giant built in 1996, stood unused for decades. When China realized that remodeling it would cost more than replacing it, the verdict was set. Pengcheng Explosion Company began carving a 13-foot trench around the tower to absorb the blast. Then, with 1.4 tons of dynamite and over 12,000 detonators, they pulled the trigger. In seconds, the tallest skyscraper ever demolished in Chinese history collapsed into rubble. The shockwave rippled across the district, echoing like a warning to failed megaprojects. Dust clouds lingered for minutes, swallowing the skyline as if the city erased a mistake in one breath. Number 5. J.L. Hudson's department store. It wasn't just a demolition, it was a moment frozen in American urban history. In 1911, Detroit unveiled a 134-meter titan packed with retail, offices, and ambition. At the time it opened, it was the tallest department store on Earth. But after more than 80 years of business, its story ended with fire in the veins drama. In 1998, a crowd of over 20,000 gathered to watch this legendary building fall. The blast was so violent it shattered windows in nearby abandoned shops and even damaged the Detroit People Mover. The ground trembled as if the city was watching a piece of its soul collapse. For Detroit, it marked the symbolic end of an era defined by industry and decline. Number 6. Brayton Point Power Station. This wasn't just a demolition, it was a record-breaking spectacle. Brayton Point Power Station in Massachusetts was once the largest coal-fired facility in New England, operating from the 1960 seconds until 2017. When demolition began in 2019, two 500-foot cooling towers were rigged with explosives, becoming the tallest cooling towers ever demolished. Crowds gathered from across the region to witness the thunderous implosion. In the following months, piles of twisted scrap metal ignited into fires as crews dismantled remaining structures. The collapse symbolized the dramatic end of an era built on coal and concrete. The site is now being transformed into a hub for renewable energy, marking a sharp turn toward the future. Number 7. Mena Plaza. It became the tallest building ever demolished, even though it was never finished. Mena Plaza in Abu Dhabi was designed as a 4-tower complex, each rising 165 meters. Construction began in 2007, but ownership disputes halted progress in 2012. Even when talks resumed, funding never returned, and the project was abandoned. By 2020, Mena Plaza stood in the way of Abu Dhabi's modernization plans. Using 13,000 pounds of plastic explosives, 3 towers fell instantly, followed by the 4th seconds later. The neatly synchronized collapse became a global benchmark for precision demolition. Experts later praised it as one of the cleanest and safest large-scale demolitions ever attempted. Number 8. Power Station Westerholt. Germany's Westerholt Power Station featured a towering 337-meter chimney, the tallest controlled structure ever demolished. Built in 1981, it dominated the region like a vertical concrete giant. When the plant shut down in 2005, the chimney's fate was sealed. On demolition day, crowds were so large the crew had to delay the implosion. But when the charges finally fired, 2 blasts, one at the base and one mid-tower, snapped the structure's spine. The sight of such a colossal chimney folding into dust became an instant piece of demolition lore. Engineers noted the chimney fell with near-perfect precision, despite its massive height.